Listen, if you guys have a 2014 to 2024 4Runner, this right here is undoubtedly the best product you can install. It's the all-new Morimoto XB Evo headlight. This thing absolutely blows any other headlight out of the water. I'll show you guys that in another video. In this video, I just want to completely overview this. I want to show you guys all of the features, the functions. I want to show you guys the light outputs. And I want to talk about this one right here, which is the Morimoto XB Hybrid headlight. It's still really cool. It's just got a couple of differences, maybe a little bit less features than this one. So let's first dive in. Let's talk about the hybrid version first. Now, before I show you guys just the sheer brightness of both of these headlights, I do want to dive into the features. So right away, what I have this in is in parking light mode. And as you can see, this DRL right here is still super bright as is. And believe me, in person, it's much brighter. It's really hard to show on camera. We literally have to turn the brightness down when I turn this off and turn DRL mode on. This is so bright. This is definitely the brightest daytime running light that you're going to see on the market today for the 4Runner. And because these have this optical refinement, no matter what angle you're viewing this from, it's going to be extremely intense. So when you're driving around during the day and your headlights are off, this DRL is gonna get much brighter, and then it's gonna keep you safer, but it also looks really cool on the front end of your vehicle. If you're standing over there, if you're standing over here, the brightness is actually gonna be the same visually. So that is a super intelligent TIR optic that they have incorporated into this DRL. It's not only impressive, it's much brighter than the original XB, the Morimoto housing they had out originally for the 4Runner. You're gonna notice that it's in white, and that's the only version that this hybrid version offers it in. You can't get it in an amber. So you're not gonna have that amber DRL. If you want the amber DRL, you are gonna need to get the XB Evo. It just comes standard with this. Talking about just how cool the daytime running light is, on the side it's got this topographic design. Does it do anything for performance? No, but it looks so good. No other 4Runner has that attention to detail when it comes to inside of the headlight housing when it's turned on. It's just style points if you like to off-road. Now when you're driving around at nighttime, you are going to have, it's gonna look like this, so that DRL is gonna be dimmer, and then you'll have your low beam and your high beam. Now if you look inside here, there's one here and one here. These are bi-LED projectors, which means that they do both low beam and high beam. They are intense. They're so bright. When you're looking over here, this is one of the major differences between the hybrid that I'm showing you right now and the Evo we're gonna get to in a second. So you're gonna notice this area right here. And yeah, it looks a little bit dark, and that's because it truly is just a dummy projector. There's not a projector in there, there's no LEDs in there, it's not going to illuminate. That is going to illuminate on a D projector is what they call them on the Evo version. We'll get to that in just a second. So right now it's just a filler, and that's why this is the hybrid version. Now the only option that you have on the hybrid when it comes to the turn signal is what you see here. You can't change the way that this turn signal functions. You don't have that scrolling feature. It's just the on-off. Now I want to dive into the back side of this housing. Now all of these mounting points are going to line up to your factory mounting points, so the install of this headlight is super easy. I know because I did it on 4 different 4Runners before we took the 4Runners out to the mountains to actually test the brightness of these. I can't wait to show you guys that in a second because it's super bright. But I wanted to show you guys that there is an adjustment for the projectors. So if you did need to raise it up or lower it down, depending on your vehicle's ride height, you can do that with a simple Phillips screwdriver. It's right here. And they are aligned from the factory when you get them. I would just mount this on your vehicle, do the install, and then take a screwdriver from the top and just turn it clockwise or counterclockwise to raise it up or down to wherever you see fit. If you really want to dive into how you're supposed to actually adjust it, go watch the other video. You back your vehicle up, you measure on the wall. It's pretty in-depth, but really at the same time, it's super easy. Just watch that other video. I'll link it in the description below. One more thing on the back side of these housings, the driver. As you can see, the driver is black, and it's got a light on. Different lights will come on depending on what feature is on, and that's just a really good way to troubleshoot if ever need be. Now the driver drives the low beam and the high beam, the bi-LED projectors. The reason I tell you that is because these are fully compliant. They are completely DOT compliant with FVMS SS108 regulations for on-road use in the USA. The only thing is, with these projectors, they are only being driven at about 50% of what their full potential is. Now, why is that? Really, it's compliance issues. If they wanted these to be DOT compliant, they had to ramp them down. Now, there is a fix for that, but it's no longer going to be street legal. The cool part is you're taking your 4Runner off-road all the time, and so I want to show you guys one more thing. This is called a Supercharger It's a driver that you can replace your original driver that the 4Runner XB hybrids came with to this. Even on the hybrid version, you could put this supercharger driver in and get about another 30% brightness. Now this driver is going to work on this hybrid version or the XB Evo version, either one. So if this was my vehicle, I would undoubtedly purchase the supercharger and install it right away. It does not void any factory warranties from Morimoto at all. Now, we're gonna get to the light outputs right now. This is what the hybrid looks like on the wall. In our studio at 25 feet away from the wall, this is what you essentially see. This is the shape of the beam pattern, and as you can see, it's specifically designed not to blind people, but also be stupid bright. The brightness of this hybrid headlight is far greater than the original Morimoto XB headlight that a lot of you guys have grown to love. The width of these bi-LED projectors surpasses many other headlights out there, which means if you just upgrade your headlights and don't upgrade your fog lights, it's gonna help you see into the ditches. This is undoubtedly the brightest and widest beam pattern you're going to see. I'm gonna prove that to you when we compare this to a bunch of other headlights in a different video. On low beam, this is without the supercharger driver, and then with the supercharger driver, you can see how much brighter it gets. Now on high beam, this is without the supercharger driver, and this is with the supercharger driver. This isn't even the craziest headlight that's came out for the 4Runner. Let's dive into the Morimoto XB Evo. I want to be real for a second with you guys. This product right here for the 4Runner is actually probably the best lighting product that I've ever seen given to us on this channel, so that way we can make a review of it. We are owned by the same organization that owns Morimoto, but I want to show you guys specifically why this is truly the best when it comes to headlight housings for your vehicle. I will compare this to a bunch of other products like I was saying, but first I want to show you guys this. This is wild. So right off the bat, this headlight housing has a startup sequence and it looks like this. It is so cool. It does nothing for performance, but it does say, hey look, I've got an aftermarket headlight and it's pretty wicked. So it does through all of the scrolling effect, and then it's got the sequence of lights. The projectors are still those bi-LED projectors. You got your low beam and your high beam in there. Then you've got your third projector that you didn't have in the hybrid version, which is the inner projector. Now this is a high beam assist projector, and it's called a D projector. It's intense, and I cannot wait to show you guys the light outputs of this one here. We truly did take a bunch of 4Runners just specifically for this video. We went camping, we were in the middle of nowhere, and there was no ambient light, and I promise you there is not another headlight out there that I would ever want to install on a 4Runner than this. This is the only way to go. As you can see here, you've got that TIR optics in your DRL, your daytime running light, and it runs all the way across here, and then you still have that cool topographic styling on the side of your housing. That right there is just crispy in my opinion. Now in parking light mode, you're gonna notice that it dims down. Remember, it dims down so you're not blinding oncoming drivers when you're in parking light mode. That's the same function that it's gonna be in when you have your low beam and high beam on. It's gonna be the dimmer version of that daytime running light. Now there's so many more features like the turn signal. Now, this turn signal right now is a solid and then it's fading off. But you can choose if you want that or the scrolling effect. So not only does this have a lot more features packed into it, but it also is customizable to whatever you like. Even up to the color. If you don't like the amber for your 4Runner and you'd rather a white DRL, you can get that as well. And it really comes down to these keys right here. There's 4 keys that are included in the kit. All 4 of these keys are super easy to get to on the back side of the housing with it still installed, and they will change all of the functions. So one color will have a white with a standard turn signal, one will have a white DRL with a sequential turn signal. Another color is going to have the amber daytime running light with the scrolling effect turn signal, and the last key is going to have the amber with the fade off turn signal that you see right now. All of which is super cool. All you got to do to get these replaced is turn off your headlight housing, locate the back side here, and it's right here. Right now I've got the green one installed, as you can see. All you got to do is reach down here and remove it like that, grab whatever color key that you want, line up the keyway, and make sure you hear it click. It's as simple as that to switch the daytime running light and the turn signal. So it's customizable. It's ultra bright. And if it's not bright enough for you, you could still install this supercharger. If you skipped ahead and you didn't watch the hybrid review, the supercharger will add about an extra 30% of brightness, but it doesn't make these DOT compliant anymore. Adding an extra 30% in brightness is wild. This is what it looks like on the wall without the supercharger, and this is what the XB Evo for the 4Runner looks like with the supercharger installed. When we were in the middle of nowhere or we were driving down the trails, you can see for yourself just how useful this light output was. Now I know in a lot of those shots you're also going to see that all new fog light that we installed. It's the XB Evo fogs for the 4Runner, and it definitely looks really good. It actually matches this right here. It just looks so good. If you want to completely transform the front of your 4Runner, these headlights and those fog lights are where it's at. Now it doesn't stop there, so don't just skip ahead, because there is still more technology inside of this headlight housing we didn't discuss, and that is the heater element. Just with the XB Evo, not the hybrid, the XB Evo. It's a patent-pending heating system that warms the surface temperature of the headlight lens to minimize the frost buildup. When the temperature drops below 5 degrees Celsius, the system is enabled to operate on your command by flashing the high beam 4 times. From there, it will automatically maintain temps within the headlight housing to mitigate frost buildup on the lens. It's essentially a cold climate game changer, and that's what Morimoto is calling it. So Morimoto actually reinvented the coating. The best coating out there out of all manufacturers is actually truly from Toyota. And they went above and beyond Toyota's standards when it comes to the hard coating on this headlight. So you're not gonna get cracking or anything like that. And that's why they are offering that 5-year warranty still for these headlights. You're not gonna have any of those issues. Now, in the box before, you also didn't have everything that you needed depending on your vehicle. There was a bunch of drop-down menus. It's a little complicated. Now, when you order this headlight housing, you are sure to get everything you need because it all comes in the kit. Check this out. This is actually included inside of the box when you order this for your 4Runner. And I'm not talking a little bit, I'm talking a lot of it. This is insane how much stuff is in here. You got all your harnesses, your daytime running lights. It's all plug and play. It's super straightforward. There is an install guide, so doing the install of these headlights are super easy. As you can see here, you've got all 4 of your different keys there, 1 for each side, and a couple of resistors, so you're not gonna have any issues with these headlights being mounted to your vehicle. Now, all of that wrapped up into something that is truly epic. This is the biggest launch that we've ever seen out of Morimoto. The all-new XB Evo headlights for the 4Runner. I can promise you that they are gonna come in at a premium, but I promise you, these are going to be undoubtedly the best, the brightest, and let's be honest, the sexiest headlights you could ever install on your 4Runner. Go to Headlight Revolution. All we're doing all month long is talking about this specific headlight, comparing it to a bunch of others. We're gonna test the heating system. We're gonna test the superchargers. We're gonna make sure that this product truly is the best so far from what we can tell. Up in the mountains, I want nothing else but this. See you guys over there at headlightrevolution.com.